Why, hello! Hello and good morning. Look at that. Up and running. So good. Perfect. Oh, look at this. Might be a little bright. Maybe I'll just adjust that now. I'll take it down a notch. How you guys doing this morning? What's going on? What's shaking? Happy Friday. 6. Okay. There we go. That looks just a bit better. We'll go with it. Perfect. Okay, well that's fun. Look at that. Got my coffee, literally just brewed, not even halfway through. Usually I just have a couple sips left. But today, was just adventuring. Getting some stuff done on my phone and lost track of time, even though I have an alarm set. I always push it a little extra. So, good morning. Welcome to our Friday yin yang yoga. I'm going to try to do a shorter one today, just simply so I have some variety. So that if you don't have a full hour, you still have a couple of classes to pick to fit in that works a little bit better. And so that's my goal. We'll see how it goes. Yin yang I've been really hard to do shorter because it just starts feeling so good and it's less poses in general. And so to make it even shorter by reducing the time, it's like, oh, well, we only did 5 poses. I feel like we didn't do anything. So we'll see how it goes. Might get carried away. I'm going to try not to because we've got stuff to do today. Cool. Who do we got here this morning? Doreen. Oh, you just melt my heart. I am just so grateful for you. Welcome to our Friday morning yoga. Great to have you with me. Just a huge thank you for your message last night. It was super encouraging, so full of love. Yes, because we are, 80 something days of me doing these videos. I know I missed Sundays, so I didn't subtract them and whatnot. So it's a solid 75 videos that I've done for free online, and just something worth celebrating. I think that's really cool, and I really like it because it takes away the stigma of the studio. That was such a good point. When I started 2 years ago, oh my gosh, 2 years ago now, my journey into health and fitness and trying to find an actual life plan instead of yo-yoing and all of that stuff, I was scared to step on the scale. I'm going to guess I was probably around 260, maybe even 275. That was when I started, and I just walked into a sweaty, hot yoga class. I said, give it to me, I'll do it my best, and it was intimidating. And I always felt like I had something to prove, like I had to earn my spot there, which is just total BS, because I am a human. So therefore, I have the right to be there. It doesn't matter my size or anything. So anyway, so that's just a little bit about my story. And then over the last 2 years, we've been making progress, and yoga's been a huge help in that. I really like yoga because you have so many options. It all kind of follows the same couple of poses. You're not going to get too wild and crazy, but it's not like it's a high, like a cardio class where you get your butt kicked every time. You can choose. You can choose something a little more gentle like these classes, or you can choose those crazy hot flow classes, and that's really fun. But I've got limited time, so let's just jump on into some yoga and get going, where we will move a little bit to stretch things out, and then we'll take things nice and slow and easy and feel real good, more of that restorative, giving the body some time to rest. So if you haven't journeyed on down to your mat, go ahead and take a moment and do so. I'm just going to have this on so I can see the clock at all times. Let it begin. Perfect. And just start to get into a position where you can start to connect in with the body and connect in with the breath and seeing how you're feeling. Starting to do that body scan, that check-in, that systems check. How's your engine running? How are things doing? Any hazard lights on today? Any warning signals? Can you start to become aware of how the body's feeling? Scan through, noticing muscles, joints, hips and knees and neck and shoulders, hamstrings, glutes, all of that good stuff. How are you physically feeling? Take a moment, really start to connect in, maybe even close your eyes if you're willing to be that brave and check things out. And then when you're ready, let's start to bring the breath into it. Maybe you just start to notice the breath and seeing how you're naturally breathing. As soon as you start to notice it though, odds are you've changed it. Odds are now you're deepening it, you're lengthening it. So let's go ahead and embrace that. Let's take that nice big inhale breath. Breathe it in nice and big. Exhale, let it out. Maybe you sigh it out, maybe it's really audible, maybe it's just a quiet exhale. Let's take another big breath. Breathe it in. Exhale, let it out. So good. Maybe as you're starting to use that exhale, you can start to feel the body softening. You're already starting to let go of your tension. Really, yoga is just the breath. And so you could do yoga literally anywhere just by noticing and taking control of the breath. So if you're feeling stressed at work, all right, let's take that big inhale. Big exhale, let it go. And even if you roll your shoulders back and down, that slight tuck of the chin, extend the head nice and long, that really starts to create that position for opening up the lungs and taking those bigger breaths. So let's take one more of those. Breathe it in, real giant. Fill not only the lungs, but start to breathe into that diaphragm, activating that belly button area, that big breath outward. And then exhale. Slowly letting everything out. If you like to set an intention for our time together, go ahead and do so now. What brings you to your mat this morning? Excellent. So nice. So good. We're going to start to wake up the body, wiggling into fingers, wiggling into toes. Excellent. Making whatever movements, if you had all morning to wake up, what movements would you actually want to take? How would you best wake up your body? Maybe you play around with a little bit of movement. It doesn't just have to be these tiny little wiggles of fingers and toes. You can actually start to maybe raise an arm overhead. Maybe do both arms overhead. Maybe you take a gentle little twist. And starting to wake up the body. Taking some time to just play around and be creative, kind of embracing. It almost feels like that inner child side of things as you're just kind of moving around on the floor, letting it feel good though. Can you give yourself permission to maybe look a little silly and get a little playful? Whatever that might be. So good. If you aren't seated, let's playfully find our way back down onto our mat, rolling back and down. Tucking those shoulder blades under, feeling the connection of the spine with the mat. Let's take that nice big inhale breath, reach the arms up overhead. Take that good morning stretch. Big inhale, reach those arms, let it feel nice. Exhale, just let the arms fall and hang heavy, just relax and release. Let's take one more of those big giant stretches and see if you could feel this all the way into the shoulders, into the underarms. See if you can start to lengthen between the ribs. See if you can lengthen between the vertebrae, getting a little bit taller. Reaching those arms up, feeling all the way through the fingertips. Keep on reaching. Be really active in this stretch. Maybe you even want to link your thumbs together as you're reaching. Sometimes that kind of helps anchor and reach a little more. And maybe you even want to just have a little tuck of the pelvis or the tailbone, like always bringing your sits bones down, creating that little pull sensation so that you're pulling from both ways. Or if the feet are extended long, you can be pointing through the toes and actively kicking the feet a little bit longer. Big stretch and exhale. Let the body completely relax. Arms can just hang out overhead, or they can come alongside the body. Just take a moment to start to feel how you can sink right into your mat as you start to kind of let go of that tension. So when we take a big giant stretch like that, we're creating a little bit of tension throughout the body, but it's good tension, it's healthy tension. And then when we take this little moment to relax, we can actually kind of let it go and get a little deeper into it. So let's take one more of those big giant inhales, reaching from the fingertips. I'm interlacing my thumbs. I'm kind of creating this little moosehead motion, I don't know what to call it, and reaching out. So my palms are facing up, fingers are extended, but thumbs are interlaced. Oh, finding all of that length, feeling that little tension, that little squeeze, or that activation of the muscles of the fascia, of the connective tissue. And if you want to accentuate that, start to actually squeeze your muscles together. Maybe you would make fists, kind of clenching there. Maybe you start to squeeze into the shoulders and the shoulder blades, squeezing into the glutes, rounding and curling the toes, maybe extending through the heels. Really start to feel that tension start to create. Lengthen, find a little more length, and exhale. Let the body just melt down. Take a little moment here before we do any other movement to just let the body relax. Can you soften the jaw, or even clenching your teeth, keeping the face muscles nice and relaxed. Beautiful. And then let's hug the knees in towards the chest, bringing them in. Taking that nice little rock and roll. The motion of hugging the knees in towards the chest is really good for the spine. I talk about how that presses the low back in down all the time, but it's actually really good for all of those internal organs. Bringing the legs in and adding that little bit of compression is very similar to like when we take a twist. Think of like wringing out a dishcloth kind of idea. There's this weird idea or cue that I hear often about wringing out the internal organs so fresh blood can come in. Now, I don't know what fresh blood is. I didn't know I had stale blood. Sorry I'm laughing, but I just actually think it's really funny when someone pointed that out. But it's that whole idea of, we hold toxins in our body and we might not give them an opportunity to release, and so as we squeeze and wring them out, we're getting rid of some of those old, maybe even just dead skin cells, or whatever that might be, or not skin cells, just dead cells. And then all of that oxygenated blood floods in and feeds into those internal organs. All right, let's send the feet up in the air, coming into our little waterfall pose. You hang on to the back of the legs, maybe even give those hamstrings, maybe even give the glutes, give the peaches some love. Don't be afraid of your own body. It's wonderful. You can extend the heels, flex the feet. You can add a little pulse into this, pulling the legs gently in and out, kind of creating that little rock forward and back instead of the left and right. Seeing how that feels on the sacrum, on the back of the pelvis. The little area. I like to do these because they actually help lengthen the hamstrings and the glutes. And so if you want to work on your forward fold, creating this little motion is really good. If you want to build it up a little bit, you can release the hands. That'll actually use the core to pull the legs in. This is supposed to be my easy peasy class, but core work is so important. Having a strong front body is really key to basically every posture and movement, but also to helping support the back body. So the back body is what helps us sit up straight. And if you've got low back problems or shoulder problems, or especially as women, having a little bit of extra flesh, I'll call it, on the front, we actually need to have like a strong core and a strong back to work with that. Excellent. All right, let's lower the legs all the way down, having them come nice and long. Excellent. Bring our left foot, planting it in towards the mat, and just let the knee fall open. Kind of coming into a little bit of like a half butterfly pose, or think of this as your fallen tree pose. So if you want, you can activate into that right foot, flexing through the foot, extending through the heel. Just imagine like you're standing on the ground with that foot, so the leg is active and strong. You might even dial the knee outward to activate the sideline of the leg. And then the left leg, the foot can just touch in really wherever it wants to. It might not even touch the leg. There's no requirement for that. But now we've got some nice external rotation happening at the legs. So maybe just like gravity. If your knee is really quite high up, you can stack a fist under the leg or under the knee, kind of adjust where you need to, or the good old yoga blocks. My yoga studio is selling yoga blocks. Should you guys require any at home, but you can always find them elsewhere. But if you want to support the studio that I call home and that is employing me now that we're opening back up, that's always a great option. Drop me a comment and we can discuss that at a later time, not in the midst of class. And I'm going to bring my arms into this. So I'm coming into what I refer to as boss arms, hands interlaced. I'm just tucking behind the head, trying to open up through the shoulders, trying to have the elbows connect all the way down. Kind of unclench the shoulders. There will be a little squeeze that happens there. So take your little wiggle and adjust. And we're simply just going to hang out here for about 5 or 10 breaths. So I don't know how quickly or slowly you're breathing. I'm going to take 5 slow breaths. So wherever that's at. And if you want to add a little bit more, you can add a little side bend, bringing that left elbow towards left knee. You can take that nice little wiggle, opening up through the right side. Wherever you're at, that's the next level, is adding the side body opener in this. So connecting in, take a big, giant inhale, really try to breathe in here and breathe into that diaphragm really low. And exhale. So good, so nice. As we are holding on to a stretch, we're actually starting to build a little trust with our muscles. We start really superficially, really close to the surface, and we start to feel that little release there. And then as we hold the pose and the body knows it's safe to be in that position, then it releases into the next layer, getting a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. That's kind of where that nice stretch sensation comes from, is actually a little bit of oxytocin, the trust hormone being released. It also makes you feel good. Oxytocin is great for feeling good. You can activate it in babies with giving them kisses. That's what helps bond babies with their parents. It's that little stimulation on the skin, but it also can go much deeper and can go right into the muscles. So how cool is that we can release some oxytocin just by relaxing and holding a stretch and building that trust with our muscles. So here you might be feeling it through the hip. You might be feeling it through the rib cage or the underarm or into the shoulder a little bit. Take that time and use that exhale to soften and let it go. Beautiful. If you're wiggled over towards one side and getting that nice side stretch opener, let's start to nice and slowly. Try not to rush this movement. There's really no rush. We're just going to try to go back and find center. It might be slightly off because of that side bend. And we're just going to keep going the other way. Just quickly opening up through that other side. I never know which side might feel better for you. Sometimes it's different in each. As you are now wiggling over towards the right, you might feel that a little more on the left hip. It all depends where you want to find that openness. So good. See if you can really kind of relax the body. Find that softness. And see if you can feel the lengthening through the muscles. Softening and lengthening. Connecting in, let's take our 2 or 3 more rounds of breath. Feeling the lungs fill, everything gets nice and tall and inflates. You find that expansion, and that exhale, everything draws back in, that pulling together. One more big, beautiful exhale, big breath in. And let it go, maybe even side out. And take that nice little wiggle. And coming back towards that nice center line. And release the arms. Maybe just come to T. Or hands come alongside the body. Try to keep his palms facing up though, to keep that openness through the shoulder blade. If you had a little proper block underneath that left leg, start to release it. And then just slide that foot all the way down. Coming to our nice neutral. This is actually our little mini Shavasana. It takes a little moment. Let the body rebound, or let that blood flow and energy return back to normal. It's a big part of a yin practice. So these little mini Shavasanas, these little rebound times, you might feel a little tingling sensation through the hip or even through the rib cage, depending on just how your body is doing, how that restriction was, and even just how aware you are of your body. Let's take one more nice big inhale. Start to really lengthen, pull the spine up nice and tall. Exhale, soften. Beautiful. Let's bring a bend to that right knee, planting the foot down. Maybe start to activate through that left foot, pretending you're standing, extending through the heel, and then let the right leg just kind of fall open. Maybe even connect the foot with the leg for that nice little fallen tree. Starting to adjust, maybe use a fist to prop up or a block. And if you've got both hands free, let's interlace the hands. Let it feel like an awkward handshake. So work with that opposite thumb on top. Tuck the hands underneath the head. Roll those shoulders back and down. So good. Really, you can wiggle over to whichever side you would like to start with. We'll do both. I always do elbow towards knee first, just simply so that I can remember where I'm at. It's these little things that help me remember one side to the next, to what we're working on and what we're doing. Start to connect in with the breath and start to feel comfortable with a little bit of quietness, with a little bit of silence. Even if there's chaos and craziness or background things that happen, can you just be aware of what's happening on your mat? Just focusing in there and letting everything else just drift away. This is a great exercise of control of the mind and of the thoughts, not letting other distractions bother or penetrate through. No scratching at your nerves. For these last couple of breaths, notice, are you squeezing on to any tension? And can you relax a little through that right hip? Can you relax the shoulders? Staying nice and soft. Taking one more nice full inhale, breathing in. Exhaling, letting it go. And then if you're doing a little side bend, let's start to wiggle back and see if you can find center. Maybe take a little gaze and check if you nailed it. And then wiggle over towards the opposite side. Your choice. There's no expectation for you to go super deep and really open up. You can just go a couple little millimeters or inches, or you can really try to open up through that right side. Just listen to your body. It's kind of what these yin yang classes are about, is building that awareness with what feels good, what feels bad, and maybe finding that yoga edge. Yoga is so fun because the term no pain, no gain does not apply to yoga. That is definitely not how we operate. That is your body screaming at you. It is okay. You can still work really hard in a yoga class without ever crossing over that line. It might be uncomfortable. You might be working with that edge where you're out of your comfort zone. But that's where growth and that's where change happens. If you keep pushing past that, getting in towards pain, then your muscles, as we're talking about trust, they actually start to trust you less. If you always push them beyond their max or to their max, our body is made to preserve energy, to store up, to make sure we have enough to get through the rest of the day. And don't get me wrong, there are benefits for certain times for pushing past that and getting into that, but I don't really think those benefits are worth the risk and the other side of it of needing to rebuild that trust and working within your edge, within that discomfort zone, has the exact same benefits. So just a little interesting tidbit. I like these yoga classes because I get to chat more. I can bring some science into it. I don't have to cue from pose to pose. I can just share my knowledge that I've gained or I'm learning. Notice, are you squeezing? Can you relax anything? Can you let it go? This feels really great. I feel like I could actually just hang out here for like a solid 10 minutes. But there's other wonderful things to incorporate and to get to. So let's take our last final breath here. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. And starting to unwind and release. Come on back. Finding that neutral. Releasing the arms alongside the body and starting to slide that right leg all the way back down. Coming into our little mini shavasana. It's a nice little rebound. Gentle little tuck of the chin. Letting gravity just weigh down. Can you feel it pulling the shoulders open? And can you feel it pulling into the hips? Beautiful. Take a big breath in. Let it go, maybe you sigh it out. Let's now plant both feet in towards the mat. Have them be a little bit farther away from the sits bones than you'd normally plant them in. Start to feel that low back maybe pressing in. Have a little tuck of the tailbone. You might even lift up the hips and plant them back down. Then both knees start to fall open. Coming into our cobbler pose or reclining butterfly, whatever you want to call this. So getting both sides, more of that hip opener happening here. You can use your fists to stack up under the legs. Or you can just let gravity weigh heavy on them. If this feels really intense and stacking your fists isn't quite enough, walk the feet a little bit farther away from the body. That'll make that a little bit more gentle. If you're looking for more of a challenge, the closer you bring your feet in, the more the hips have to open up to get lower. Just kind of, those angles are a little more intense. Works through that. If you want a little more as well, you can bring the hands on top of the legs. Not pushing, just letting the weight of the hands pull in and pull down, deepening that stretch. Is there any way you could possibly soften this pose any further? And taking our last breath or two. Feeling the ribs expand, still breathing into that abdomen. Letting it go. Slowly releasing the hands, and maybe with helping hands, bring the hands underneath the legs. Start to push the knees back up towards center. Planting the feet. Beautiful. Take a nice big inhale and lengthen. Exhale, press that low back in until you still arch through that low back there. We'll walk those feet in a little bit closer now. We'll just counter all of that, taking a nice little back bend. So take that inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, start to press the shoulders down, press the feet in, and lift the hips up. Just really gentle. We're not going anything crazy here. Just enough to actually bring the heart just ever so slightly a little bit higher. It's technically above the head, which makes this nice and restorative. Make sure the knees are in line with the feet. Nothing is splaying open. If you want a little more, you can press up a little higher. But even just having the hips hover starts to activate into the legs a little bit, activates into the shoulders. And nice and slow, let's roll down one vertebrae at a time. Feeling that little massage along the spine. See if that tailbone, see if that low back can be the very last thing to press in. Having it go vertebrae by vertebrae. Let's counter that by just hugging the knees in towards the chest, or you can take a little happy baby, should you prefer that variation. Don't let the chin tip up. Keep that chin nice and tucked. Beautiful. So good. And then let's release the feet. If you have them in your happy baby, just bring the knees together, stacking over the hips. Extend the arms wide as we get ready to come into a twist. And drop the legs down towards the left-hand side, trying to stack knee over knee, ankle over ankle, and keeping that right shoulder planted into that opposite shoulder. Planted in and pressing in. And the knees don't come all the way down. Great opportunity for a block underneath both. Or, more common, is the knee in between, or the pillow or the block in between the knees. So feeling that nice little rotation through the spine. Maybe the gaze goes off towards the right or the opposite direction of the knees. If you want a little more, there's two wonderful variations or little binds we can add in. You can bring that top knee, bring your left hand onto that top leg, and you can start to journey that top leg off. That'll deepen the twist. You can even start to extend that top leg. That'll roll you more onto your left hip, and odds are your right shoulder might start to pop up. You can either just take that little moment to be intentional to roll it back down, but if it's staying floating up, you just bring your hand a little bit closer towards the body. That helps just protect the angle that the shoulder is at, so you're not overly torquing through that. Most people have some pretty good range of motion through shoulder, but there's lots of tightness that happens there. So if you're trying to force that arm to stay at that perfectly outstretched position, that might not be comfortable, especially as we hold here a little longer. If you want a little more, the hand on the knee, if you're looking for some more intensity, you're going to start to really feel this through the internal organs as you start to slide that hand down. Maybe you even reach for the great toe, big toe. Feel that nice lengthening. This will get into the IT band a little bit as you kind of have that resistance on the foot. Gets into the hamstring. This is a super intense variation of this twist. So please really listen to your body. Feeling that. It also just feels fun to be all splayed out over the floor. Kind of one of those crazy poses. This is half pulling the cat's tail, just working with that top leg. And if you want, there is even a double bind we can go with. So if this right hand is journeying down towards the hip anyway, maybe you want to reach for those bottom toes, get a little quad stretch in. This is the full variation of this nice yin twist. Feels like craziness. There's lots going on. And a little hamstring that likes to seize up on me. So we've got a twist happening, we've got a T-band work, we've got hamstring work, we've got quad work. Might even have footwork, and you might be challenging your ego for your expectations of your own flexibility. I can't hold my back foot and my top foot at the same time, or at least not today. So here's a fun little variation of a crazy twist. So cool, so good. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths here. See if you can start to soften. So there's lots going on. Can you start to still the mind and then let things go? Taking that last little round of breath. Nice big inhale. Full exhale. Start to release the feet nice and slow, however you have them. Maybe even start to reach the arms back out. Let's bring that top knee, stacking knee over knee. And bring both legs up, planting the feet in towards the mat. Arms reach out, and let's just take our little moment here. Let the spine connect and let it adjust from that twist. Kind of feel that little rebound that's happening. Connected with the breath. So good. Taking one more nice breath. Let's lengthen. And exhale. Feel that nice, just slight engagement. Pull the belly button in towards the core. Bring the knees floating over the hips. Bring knee to knee, ankle to ankle. And start to drop things down towards the right. Or the opposite direction of wherever you were. Really close to the wall, so I'm just going to give myself a little more space here. Using your block to prop up between the legs, should you want, or wherever feels good. Gaze can go towards the left. Just simply feel the twist here first before you decide whether you want a little more. If you want a little more, nice and gently, you can bring that right hand just on top of the legs, on top of the knee. And then as you settle in here, if you decide you want a little more, then you can start to bring that top leg off a little bit, and starting to bring that top knee a little closer towards the ground. We're reaching for the big toe and extending. If that is too intense on those internal organs, you're probably feeling lots of rotation and compression happening through there. You can bring that lower arm, or that left arm down a little closer towards the body. And then if you want, you can try reaching for those right toes, that right foot, coming into that full pulling of the cat's tail. Nice little quad stretch will probably happen there. I feel like a little foot cramp might happen on me for that one. And just adjusting and moving as needed through this crazy, wild, double binded twist. Still trying to keep that chin a little bit tucked. Connecting in, take that nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. I'm going to listen to my body and release that bottom foot. I'm fighting with it anyways. Trying to find just a couple breaths worth of stillness. And can you hold this without moving anything but the heart and the lungs? Beautiful. Can you release any tension? Can you soften? starting to gently release, maybe letting go of a foot, trying not to slingshot in any way, letting go of the other foot, and starting to stack knee back over knee if that leg is extended long. Maybe wiggling and adjusting back into that neutral twisted position. And then swinging the legs up, planting the feet. Reaching the arms out overhead. Take a nice big stretch, reach it up. Exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Reach on through, maybe take that little happy baby. Feet go up in the air, knees draw in towards the body. Nice big inhale and an exhale. If you want a little more, you can try to straighten the legs, getting a little more into the hamstrings. This is another freestyle portion of the class, so if there's another pose or movement you want to take before we take our little shavasana at the end, go ahead, be creative, play around. Nice and gentle class today. We didn't even do any seated. How delightful. Nicely restorative. Nice and stretchy. Not necessarily easy. That last one was a doozy. So good. And then as you're ready, you can settle into that nice final pose. Extending the legs long. And keeping them bent. Finding a nice position for your arms. And we'll just take 3 deep inhales and exhales together. So breathing in, filling the lungs and the diaphragm, option side out. Let it be audible. Letting it go. Nice big inhale. And release. Last one, big inhale breath. Breathe it in as much as you can. Giant one to finish it off with. Exhale, sigh it out. And feel free to take all the time you need to finish off your class, to settle in. Thank you so much for joining me in this beautiful little Yin Yang Friday class, or whatever day of the week you're getting to this. I hope you have just a wonderful rest of the day. May it be filled with moments of joy, and I pray that you're always blessed. So thank you, and namaste. Beautiful.